Would you like to know more?
Welcome to War Master Podcast episode 34 of Adventures in 3D Printing. Today we're looking at some Forest Dragon. What are these? These are called Blood Knights, aren't they? So they're the vampire version of the heavy cavalry. So 334 plus on the stat line, 110 points. So they're just a variant in the same way as other army races from the original GW era had variant heavy cavalry, like Dragon Princes and other bits and bobs. Basically, they're the same unit in the game. They don't have any change of stats, but they're just for variety. So I printed these out, normal setup. So Photon Mono, Elegoo water washable blue. So very good level of detail. They're not overly brittle, but it helps that these weapons are quite thick, the lances. Cleanup's a bit awkward. I use hot water to clean up, so it does mean that they come off pretty easily, but because the resin's transparent, it's quite hard to see the supports, especially under the model. So it's only when you undercoat them then you can see all the supports and stuff, but by that point they've been cured and painted, so removing the supports is nowhere near as easy. I'll probably have to be very gentle and remove them prior to painting. Anyway, so I've printed off a couple of units of these fellas because I'm going to use them as variants in my Vampire Counts list. So you can actually see some faces, because are vampires undead or not? If I go for my ghostly paint scheme all over, do I paint the vampires ghostly because they are kind of undead, or are they more living, more like ghouls? Don't know. We'll have to wait and see what comes out, how much time and effort I want to put in. So under here you can see one of the issues with the water washable is undercuts. You can sometimes get a bit of residue. You won't be able to see that at 10mm obviously on the table. I mean, this is like an incredible level of magnification that you can see under there, but that is something that is definitely an issue with water washable, that the undercuts sometimes have residue left on them. If you saw the actual model and saw how big that residue is, you really wouldn't worry about it. But it is picked up on this camera, so I thought I'd point it out. So it is nice. I mean, this is a complete luxury item. It's completely unnecessary in respect of the range and playing Vampire Counts in War Master. So this is like just complete icing on the cake. It's good stuff. And it was part of the February subscription. So February moved on to Bretonian, and we've got a couple of Bretonian characters to talk about, and some Bretonian knights which I haven't printed out yet, and then these knights. So maybe I should have had the other knights here to show you side by side. Maybe I'll dig that out for the next time. So there's two of the basic trooper cavalry models, and then here's the other two. So you can see I'll try not to worry too much about stringing and stuff. That's just part of my undercoating. So nice, solid, hefty looking knights. Very dynamic poses. So I have talked about levels of detail. And it really would be hard for me to do anything with any detail above this. To be fair, with my level of painting, this level of detail is probably beyond what I can reasonably expect to be able to do anything with. And so, although extra details are available commercially, if you're extra levels of detail, it really would be hard for me as a novice style painter to do anything with that detail. So it would be like an old northern catchphrase it'd be like putting tits on a bull. It would be completely useless. So hopefully that's not too child unfriendly. Hopefully I don't have to put an age rating on this particular episode because of that comment. So we'll look at the banners. I think there may actually be 3 banners, but I printed the 2 banners with motifs on. So we have a flying kind of serpent there. And here we have a Flying Skull. So, I mean, you know what you're going to get now with Forest Dragon. This is not the first rodeo. This is like the third range. So, you know what you're going to get. You know the quality, and they kind of made a statement in January by not putting anything out because they needed more time. So rather than rush and put out some lesser quality stuff just to get the month's Patreon money, they opted to take a month off. So you can't really argue with that kind of philosophy. Then we have the characters. So this guy's particularly impressive, isn't he? Bald head. He reminds me, what was it, Blade 2? Blade 2 with one of the Kemp brothers in it from Bros. No, well, Kemp brothers. One of the, I can't remember their name. Gross brothers. Gross from the group Bros. He plays the evil. Well, he's not that evil in the end, is he? But he starts off as the evil vampire. His dad turns out to be the evil vampire in true Game of Thrones fashion. It's always the dads. So nice bald head, big teeth, big axe, back poles, very nice. Yeah, and then here we have. Let's see if we can get round to see the other side of this one. A helmeted guy with a sword. We've got a trumpet with this one. I'm not sure this guy's got. Oh, he is. His trumpet's down here, isn't it? Here's one of the issues with the water washable and washing it in hot water. Is even though I've used some double-sided tape, I probably haven't extended the tape long enough. So this curling is what you get where there's nothing holding the miniature down. So there's nothing bracing this base to the miniature, because obviously it's quite a dynamic pose. So because the resin's warm, when I'm cleaning up and stuff, it starts to curl, and I tried to combat that by using double-sided tape and sticking it to my lolly stick for priming, but I haven't used enough because it started to curl there. So that's a little bit disappointing, but I mean that's not really going to matter because there's enough flex in that when I super glue it to the base for painting, it's not going to matter at all. You're not going to see it at all. So and then the other thing that I printed out is a couple of the characters for the Bretonians. So I'm going to print out some more of these this week, but it's homeschool week again. God, half term went quickly. So we're back on homeschooling as of tomorrow morning. I think I might have broken the tip of the sword off here, or maybe it's just a little bit of an asymmetric design on the sword, because the point doesn't look quite right somehow. So we've got an enchantress here. She's obviously got the sword out the leg. She's handing it over to somebody. He's saying, "Here, come on, Arthur. Take this sword and go do some work, mate." And then we have a mounted hero on this stand here. So, oh, that's interesting, isn't it? He's got almost like his cloak almost looks a bit jester-like. I'm not 100% up to date on my French medieval heraldry. I wonder if there's any, we can pick out any detail on this cloak, not cloak, but this big woven armour that the horse is wearing. I wonder, this was just for decoration. I'm sure they had armour underneath there, but I mean, in the summer it must have made the horses awfully hot. They said, "God damn, get this," because you can see the barded mail underneath or scale mail or whatever they had underneath this bloody stupid rug that they were wearing. Was that a griffin there on the shield? Yeah, that's lovely. So we've got some Bretonians to print, some Bretonian knights, and also some Bretonian, I think they're peasants, aren't they, the ones that have come out? And he's also, Forest Dragon have also spoiled that, I think there's a Grail Reliquary coming in March to go with the peasants. And also, I'll be printing out some of those knights of both gender, which really doesn't fuss me at all, to be honest. Because it's not a historical model, is it? It's a fantasy model. You can do whatever you want with them. Yeah, we are in the 21st century now, so men and women fight in the army. So we're going to be doing a little bit more of some Forest Dragon, but we've also got to share some Cromarty Forge Lizardmen, because I've been given some early access to them. It'd be rude not to print and show them off. So I'm going to record a video in a second of some Chromadie forged lizardmen, and we'll see you next time.